Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bellingham Select Board's January 22nd, 2024 meeting. If you please rise for our traditional pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We start the evening off with a public hearing, which I'm expected or required to read. So in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 166, Section 22, and the Bellingham Code of Bylaws, the Bellingham Select Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, January 22nd, 7 p.m. in the Municipal Center Arcade Meeting Room on a joint petition of Verizon and National Grid for plan number 3083-9952 to install one JO pole and relocate one JO pole on Depot Street, beginning at a point approximately 2,500 feet southeast of the center line of the intersection of Hartford Ave. Continuing for 300 feet in the southeast direction, relocating pole 44, installing pole 44-5 for new driveway going into 152 Depot Street. Also permission to lay and maintain underground cables and wires and mention public ways for the purpose of making connections with such poles and buildings as the petitioner may desire. Petitioner is on Zoom, is that correct? We have someone from National Grid over Verizon.
Michael Parent.
I'm here.
Michael Parent.
Yeah,
Oh, there.
I'm
Yeah. Michael, would you add anything other than what I read for the public notice?
Nope. I believe it's pretty clear what we're trying to do here.
Yep. Clean up an area, add a driveway, et cetera, et cetera. Any questions from the board?
No, it's standard.
Any questions from the audience? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
First and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mike, you're in for, right?
Yeah, I did, yep.
4-0 to close the public hearing. Entertain a motion to approve the request.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
First and second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None. Tough job tonight, Michael Parent. Thank you very much. You were awesome.
Thank you.
Take care. Hillary, you'll take care of the rest of them?
Yeah.
All right, great.
You guys need to sign this section.
Yep. All right, next order of business, under other business, we have a vote to grant National Grid a separate easement at 215 Depot Street. Jesse, this is for ourselves, correct?
This is correct.
All right, this is for Bellingham's DPW facility, does not require a public meeting.
No.
All right. Motion to grant National Grid's easement at 215 Depot Street. Do I have a second?
Second.
First and second, any further discussion? Showing none, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
4-0. Okay. Vote on gifts and grants. Is that in the packet here?
We haven't
Yeah,
really-
sorry.
These are some donations that came in memory of Lawrence Duhamel to the fire department.
Nice. All right, would anyone like to read that motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Board of Selectmen accept the gifts and grants as listed herein with said expenditures to be under the directions of the parties noted.
Second.
First and seconded, any further discussion?
Nope.
Chief, do you have any thoughts on just the donations themselves? It's fire prevention grants, fire prevention gift account. Very nice. Very much appreciated of the family and so all those in favor of accepting the grants, the gifts?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Interim Town Administrator's recommendation to appoint and ratify Dominic Mancini to General Foreman. Dennis? You're muted, Dennis, sorry.
Sorry for the technical difficulties.
There you go.
But yeah, so we did make that recommendation. As you know, I did make that recommendation at the last meeting. I know there were some questions. Board members were going to speak with Jesse. I think all the questions have been satisfied. I'm confident in the appointment. It's really a lateral transfer, as we said. It's Dominic's been with the department in a management position for a year and a half. I know Jesse's there and can speak to the exact amount of time, but the managers feel confident that he can easily transfer over to that position. So that is the recommendation.
And you don't see it, Dennis, but Dominic is here this evening.
Good.
Nice to see you. Discussion of the board.
No,
I
Nothing.
have no questions. Jesse's recommendation and Dennis's is fine with me.
Okay, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve and appoint and ratify Dominic Mancini to the position of general foreman for the Department of Public Works.
I second.
Very good. First and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
I
Opposed, none. Dominic, we thank you for coming out on such a cold night. We know that you're generally out on cold nights. But I actually appreciate that you came in tonight so that we could see you and congratulate you in person.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Very well done. Thank you very much. And if you can stay all night if you want to,
It's not a long meeting.
No.
It's not long.
Open the annual town meeting warrant. Hillary, do you have the details?
Just that it's open. I'll send an email tomorrow to all the department heads and the boards and committees, and we're gonna have it set to close on Friday, February 23rd.
Okay, we need a vote on that, correct? No?
No, I don't think so. Just
You said Friday when?
Friday, February 23rd. We can make a motion just in case if you want.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to close the annual town meeting warrant.
No, open it.
Open it.
I mean, open it
today.
tonight, January 22nd, 2024, and close it on February 23rd, 2020.
I second.
Mike can be in for the second
Yeah.
and beat you to it.
okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Appoint Frederick Rick Heim Jr. as Assistant Building Inspector. Tim?
So, he's just a, on-call,
Yeah,
and we use him to fill in when it gets heavy load, so.
so this is just to formalize that appointment. Yep, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yeah.
Hillary, on this notice to appoint him, it says the date of term expiration, March of 2000.
Yeah, we're just gonna
Okay.
redo them all again in
All
March.
right, because I'm like.
They've been using him in the inspectional services department, so we want to formally do it, and then we redo everyone in March, so I'll just do him again in March.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you.
Yep.
So you're making that motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to appoint Frederick Rick Heim Jr. to the position of
Local inspector.
local inspector.
Second,
First and second, and any further discussion, assuming none, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, 4-0. Everything is progressing on the DPW administration building, but we do have members of the committee that we're looking to formalize. The DPW committee consists of Roland Lavalley as chairman, Joe Calamati as a member, Ann Odebastian, Jesse Rydell, Sean Harrington, Hillary as the clerk, Tim as the project manager, Dennis Frayne, Beth Cornell, and Heidi Schuckman as ad hoc members. Need a motion
Make a
to
motion?
appoint? Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a motion, to accept the DPW Administrative Building Committee as, listed?
For a second,
Second.
first and second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, none. Vote on the January 8th minutes. We are moving right along.
Thanks.
I know.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a motion to accept the January 8th meetings as, presented?
Second.
First and seconded, assuming no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, 4-0. Announcements, tonight is the wait for Gene Bartlett, former chief of our auxiliary police, and although I knew Gene when I first got on the board, Ann, if I could turn this over to you.
I would be pleased. I think for all of us, I know the deputy chief and Tim has known him and Dennis, and we have all known Gene Bartlett for years and years. And you couldn't find a more dedicated person or a more caring or more friendly individual than Gene Bartlett. And he is going to be very much missed by the town of Bellingham. And he always put in his best foot. I mean, I never knew anyone who cared so much about what he did, and had the greatest personality you could ever find, and a smile that couldn't be beat. And I enjoyed my years knowing him, and his stopping by the town clerk's office when I was town clerk was always fun. And he and Dutchie loved to go to Twin River. That was their big thing. And they always had a good time. So he was just one of our very special individuals that the town of Bellingham had. So I'm sorry to see him go, but
Very well said.
thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Next up, we are just as a public service making, with anyone who is watching from home on cable 8 or zooming in, a reminder that we are always accepting applications for open positions on various boards and committees. They are on our website, but at the risk of repeating myself, I'm going to read them. These appointments range from 1 to 5 years, depending on the position. Board of Health has 1 position, Board of Registrars has 1. Commission on Disability has 1, Cultural Council has several. Cemetery Committee has 1 open, Conservation has 3 positions, they're up.
Actually, 4,
4 now,
yeah.
okay. Council on Aging 3, Historical Commission 3, Norfolk County Advisory Board 1 position, Board of Tax Assessors 1, Town Common Trustees 2, and Zoning Board of Appeals 1. I see a lot of information that gets touched on Bellingham Mass Unplugged and various other social media outlets about getting involved. And these are certainly opportunities, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 different groups or committees that could use Bellingham residents to make for a better Bellingham. So with that, MBTA Communities Committee meeting is scheduled for January 25th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the Arcan meeting room. And for those who may not be aware of this, may have seen some information that came out of Milton where the residents there were objecting to it. They're amongst, I think, the 13 communities that touch Boston. This is not what this is. This is a committee that simply needs to designate an area of the town should this proceed. We are obligated in 2024 to identify a zoned area. And this committee will look at feasible lots for what may be required cluster zoning. Should it get past any objections legally throughout the state. But again, this is not to make any decisions on properties. This is simply to position Bellingham so that we are in compliance with requested zone.
Mr. Chair, are we aware if the governor has responded to our letter?
Dennis, do you know if we sent that letter about 10 days ago?
Yeah, the governor has not responded. I know Representative Soder, I talked with him today. We did copy him on that letter, and he will be, actually has followed up, looking to get some relief. He supports the action that the board took and wanted to pass that along to reassure everyone that he's paying attention to it as well. He's been in touch with the Office of Housing and Community Development to see if he can get some work there as well. You know, he recognizes that we have quite an impressive you know, track record with regard to newly created housing. So he's working on that as well. So you know, we'll see if we get some traction on that, Mike.
Yeah, Mike, I would say it was, but Mike, that was a good call to send the letter, and I think Dennis, you know, worded it well, and
Yeah, my whole thing is kind of reinforcing what Dennis has already said, that we've already met their requirements before they even asked. We've already done it. That's I think, you know, at least would be from my point of view, our ground to stand on is we've already done what you've asked. Why are you asking for more?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's, and also, it's, I don't know if anybody follows it, you know, it's, they had a MMA, convention that was last week in Boston.
Mhm.
And, so she actually gave a, speech regarding to, you know, how much the housing needed to be done in the state. But in that same token, obviously, you know, that we did a lot of projects, you know, it's over time, and it's so unfortunate that to see they are not accepting those projects, and then we move it forward for Bellingham.
Yep.
And it should be counted for, and then we should be taking credit for it,
Right.
just to highlight it.
Right, do we have anything under old business? Do you have anything under new business?
I have some.
Yeah, and I,
So-
Jeff,
Okay, and good, I'll go first.
Okay, under new business, I remember when I was on the Board of Selectmen, I know many years ago, but I was here. But one of the things we did was we had a citizen segment. And for some reason, through the years, that citizen segment has kind of gone away. But I feel it should be brought back, and I think it's important. And my suggestion is we would make it from 7 to 7:15 would be the open citizen segment for residents to come in with questions, concerns, issues that they aren't sure where to go or what to do. And then start our public hearings at 7:15. It's something people have brought up. I've seen it online, and I remember it was always a very good thing. Dennis, you remember it? When we had our
Yes.
citizen segment.
We
And I
think we
think we
did.
should, yeah, I think we should bring it back. I think it's something that's important, and I think it's long overdue. So that is my suggestion to my board members tonight, to bring the citizen segment back, starting in our next meeting. If we can, I know that some things have already been scheduled, but if we can, and if there's a public hearing, just push it off to 7:15. That's what we would start our public hearings. And we'll let the public know that we will be having a citizen segment from 7 to 7:15 for those interested in coming to board.
Thoughts? I know.
Yeah, I think, we talked about it, and then that's why, we're gonna have that coffee hour meetings, and it's, at least a couple of us might be available. We talked about it, it's, that was the first step, and I think we got some dates, it's, we, waiting to hear from.
Yeah, that's at the senior center. What I'm talking about is
Yeah.
right here with us.
No, I'm just saying that was the first step.
Yeah,
And then this will be a second step, it's, I'm all ears.
Mike, how do you
Yeah.
feel about it?
Actually, I support Ann what you're saying. I have been, reached out to a few times. Am I allowed to go to the meeting? Am I allowed to do this? And it's, I give everybody the same answer. Any resident can attend the meeting, whether they are heard or not, is up to the chair, but anybody is welcome to come. I think this is just reaffirming, kind of the direction I think all of us want the board to go, with transparency and welcoming.
Okay, thank
There
you.
you go. I think I don't certainly object to it. I think we're going to spend a lot of the meeting saying, well, you need to go to the zoning board, you need to go to the planning board. That matter is coming up at town meeting, but you know what? We get on the air and we say that.
I think
Be good.
I think you need to hear it.
Yep, okay.
All
Mike, you have something for new business?
Yeah, I sent you and Hillary and Dennis Ryan an email. It's just a thought, because I see a lot going on, I'm doing, working in a different community. With either, I think like a resident of the year, or a, veteran of the, we have a veteran of the year. I know when Dennis replied and said the businesses do it, which is great, but I think we should honor some of the veterans. There's one in particular I have in mind, whether it be like a key to the town, or something like that, or, make them, incorporate it into our parade where they can kind of be highlighted. This individual, who I think has gone way above and beyond just being a regular resident, and kind of setting the tone and trying to change things in the town of Bellingham. So I wasn't sure if that's something we could, discuss, move forward.
At first I was hesitant, and I would tell you why I was hesitant, because it may say that we're getting political, but when you just mentioned the parade, why not name someone Jim Hastings could name them the Grand Marshal of the parade?
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Because we do proclamations that are one day specific, but I think that if we, I'll pick on Dennis. Dennis was once our Citizen of the Year from the Bellingham Business Association. I saw the plaque. And those are things that have come out of the Lions Club, and the Bellingham Business Association have done some great recognition. And I think that if we're going to do a town thing, that if we focused on the veterans, as you mentioned, and let the I forget the name, but it's the Bellingham Parade Committee, or
Yeah, it's- yeah.
Memorial
Memorial
Veterans
Day,
Day.
thank you. Let them be a part of the selection and maybe put if not already a member of the, select board like yourself, Mike, on that to move nominations forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think this individual definitely, he deserves, more than a pat on the back.
Yep, know him well, he's a good guy.
Yeah, no, and I think, I don't think I get any objection from anybody on the board. So
No.
that's just odd.
All right. Okay, anything else on the new business? Dennis, would you like to, I know, you've already delivered to us your report, but if you want to touch on that for the record?
Sure. Governor came out last week with her budget. There were some concerns. As you know, 9C cuts were announced, which essentially is mid-year cuts from existing budget, about $1 billion worth. But the cuts to the extent of Bellingham was just $25,000 on playground equipment. 50,000 was earmarked for Bellingham, and it was cut back to 25,000. So certainly not terrible. We've had 9C cuts before, which impacted local aid. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case this year, but it kind of set the tone in many people's minds for what next year's budget, the FY25 budget, was going to look like. And the budget that the governor came out with looks to have modest increases in local aid in Chapter 70. So that's the good news. It does obviously have to go through the legislative process, and probably won't be finalized for several months, but at least it's starting on the right track. The other thing was the governor announced a rather extensive proposal relative to looking at giving municipalities a little bit more leeway with regard to procurement issues, as well as offering some programs which would provide for at local option tax relief for seniors, something I know a lot of people have been concerned with. So that there's a lot in the package. I did let you know that you can find the information on mass.gov and just look for the governor's proposals. They're really a lot of things that we've been talking about over the years. So it was very interesting. A lot of them came from the MMA, so they came from recommendations from cities and towns like us when we were proposing, as you recall, to increase that small business exemption. That's not one of the items, but I think it should be. And we followed up with Rep. Soda to see if we can't get that included in that package, something that we've been talking about for several years. But it's a good start as far as the budget goes. We're always concerned that there are going to be cutbacks, especially when revenues are down as they are this year. So that was also announced at the conference that was mentioned earlier. So the governor announced it on Wednesday and then reaffirmed it at the conference over the weekend. Just a couple other items. I know, is Jesse still in attendance?
He is.
Yeah, he is.
He is. Great job with our TIP project, which is I think it's about a 10 to 12, going to be about a 10 to 12 million dollar project that will reconstruct Hartford Avenue from Walmart all the way to the Midway Town line. It hasn't been approved yet, but it's been programmed and we're on the right track. It's similar to the project that did South Main Street, which was about a $7 million project. So the funds are extremely competitive, takes a lot of legwork. We've got good engineers working with us, but it also takes, our municipal officials attending the MPO meetings in Boston, and Rep. Soder also has put in a good word for us. So good project, and Jesse, good job on that. The design is only at 10%, but 10% gives a lot of indication as to what the project's going to look like. There will be a 25% public hearing where it will be noticed and it will be held in the Arcam meeting room, and Mass DOT will be in attendance along with the engineers. So I think you've all attended those types of meetings. I know we had an extensive one on South Main Street, and it'll be much the same for this project on Hartford Avenue. So that's certainly going in the right direction. Jesse, anything to add on that?
No, Dennis, I think you covered it. We're heading in the right direction. Like you said, we're early on right now, but we'll certainly keep on it and, do what we can to make sure this project keeps going and, we'll look for, some positive updates and, keep everybody in a loop on it. So, thank
It's
you.
not, yeah, it's not unrealistic to think that project could, based on the last few last couple of tip projects that we've had, it's not unrealistic to think that that project could be moving in 2 to 3 years. So it's worth the effort, and they're big money projects that, we can't necessarily afford to fund, internally. Couple other items, Chief Miller is going to be coming in, as we mentioned, for his budget, next meeting. And also Chief Fitzgerald sent out letters, I know he copied Hillary, to the liquor establishments to let them know that, there will be some enforcement, coming along, and not so much enforcement as visits. And obviously they're referred to as stings. It's an opportunity to see how compliant the package stores and the restaurants that serve alcohol are being. So they're important, they're effective, and those letters went out.
I
The
sent
chief
an
is
email to all the business owners as well.
excellent. So that information's out there, and the chief will be updating the board on that at our next meeting, and I will also be in attendance at our next meeting. That's all that I had, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I don't have anything else. I just have one more thing. So.
No, yeah, I'm fine.
So obviously we got our draft budget. I found it useful. I guess more, maybe this might apply to you more, Mike, but I found it useful. I've always sat down with Mary in the past. We spend an hour or two going over the budget, so that it makes our budget meetings expeditious, if you can say 3 hours is expeditious. Chief, it's on my nightstand. I haven't read it yet, but it's on my nightstand. So.
If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, as you know, I'm not shy about stopping by and having our little conversations. So, with that, having satisfied agenda, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
First and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, none. Folks, have a good night.
Good night.
Thanks,
Good
everybody.
night.